Have you ever had a moment that completely changed your perspective? A chance encounter that altered the course of your life? That's what happened to Mark Reynolds, and I couldn't wait to share his story with you. If this resonates with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to see more life-changing stories like this one. The waves crashed rhythmically against the shore as Mark Reynolds watched his 7-year-old daughter Emma build an elaborate sandcastle. His phone buzzed for the 5th time that morning, another email from work, but he ignored it, determined to be present for once. 3 months since the divorce was finalized, and he was still struggling to balance single parenthood with his demanding job as a marketing executive. Dark circles had taken permanent residence under his eyes, his once pressed shirts now perpetually wrinkled. This rare Saturday off felt stolen, a guilty pleasure he couldn't fully enjoy knowing the mountain of work awaiting him on Monday. "Daddy, look!" Emma called, proudly pointing to her creation. Mark smiled genuinely for what felt like the first time in weeks. He'd requested this weekend off to attend Emma's school play, only to discover yesterday that his boss had scheduled an emergency client meeting for Monday morning. He would have to work through the weekend to prepare. How could he explain this to Emma? Again. That's when he saw her, Catherine Parker, the formidable CEO of Parker Media Group, walking barefoot along the shoreline. Mark instinctively reached for his shirt, suddenly aware of how unprofessional he must look in his faded swim trunks and 3-day stubble. Catherine was legendary for her exacting standards and intimidating presence. The office joke was that she never slept, never relaxed, and probably didn't even have a personal life. Yet here she was, wearing a simple sundress, her usually perfect hair blowing freely in the ocean breeze. Mark considered grabbing Emma and making a hasty escape, but it was too late. Catherine had spotted him. To his surprise, she changed direction and walked toward them with a warm smile he'd never seen at the office. "Mark, what a coincidence," she said, her voice lacking its usual edge. "And who's this talented architect?" Emma beamed at the compliment. "I'm Emma. Do you want to help? Daddy says the best castles have strong foundations." Before Mark could intervene, Catherine was kneeling in the sand beside his daughter, carefully adding shells to the castle walls. Mark watched in disbelief as his intimidating boss laughed genuinely at Emma's stories. "Your daughter is remarkable, Mark," Catherine said after Emma ran to the water's edge to collect more shells. "You must be very proud." "I am," Mark replied, finding his voice. "Though lately I feel like I'm failing her. Work demands so much time, and since the divorce." He stopped, horrified that he was sharing personal struggles with his boss. Catherine's expression softened. "I rarely share this, but I was raised by a single father. He worked 2 jobs to support us." She gazed out at the ocean. "He never missed a school play, though. Not one." Mark felt a twist of guilt. "I've had to miss several of Emma's events recently. Including her play yesterday. You know, Mark," Catherine said thoughtfully, "I've noticed your work quality declining these past months." Mark's heart sank. This wasn't a friendly chat after all, it was a performance review on a beach. "But now I understand why," she continued. "I've been pushing everyone too hard, including myself. My father taught me that success means nothing if you sacrifice what truly matters." She looked directly at him then. "Monday's meeting? I'm canceling it. And starting next week, I'm implementing flexible work arrangements for employees with families." She smiled as Emma returned with a handful of shells. Some things are more important than profit margins. They spent the next hour building an elaborate sand fortress, Catherine sharing stories about her own father's struggles and triumphs. Mark found himself opening up about his fears of failing as both a parent and an employee. "You know what I see, Mark?" Catherine said as they watched Emma splash in the shallow water. "I see a dedicated father doing his best in impossible circumstances. And a talented employee whose contributions are being undermined by outdated workplace expectations." Her words washed over him like the tide, cleansing, renewing. What if we created a workplace that recognized life's complexities? Where success wasn't measured by hours logged but by quality of work and quality of life? When they parted ways that afternoon, Mark felt a weight lift from his shoulders. True to her word, Catherine cancelled Monday's meeting. The following week, she announced a company-wide flexible work policy, with Mark heading the pilot program. For the first time, he could attend Emma's school events without sacrificing his career. 6 months later, productivity at Parker Media had increased by 30%, turnover dropped dramatically, and Mark had been promoted to Director of Creative Solutions, a position Catherine created that allowed him to work primarily from home. That chance meeting on the beach didn't just change Mark's life, it transformed an entire company culture. All because two people saw each other as humans first, not just boss and employee. I share this story because it reminds me of my own journey as a creator. 3 years ago, I was working 80-hour weeks at a corporate job while trying to launch this channel. A similar unexpected conversation with my mentor changed everything for me, showing me that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's the foundation of authentic connection and meaningful change. Like Mark, I learned that sometimes the most profound transformations begin with a simple conversation. With honesty. With seeing the humanity in others and allowing them to see yours. What conversation might change your life today? What words might you share that could transform someone else's journey? Remember, behind every professional title is a person with hopes, struggles, and dreams not so different from your own. If this story touched you, please consider subscribing to join our community of storytellers and truth seekers. Together, we can create more workplaces, and a world where success includes compassion, balance, and recognizing what truly matters. Because sometimes, the most important meeting of your career might happen not in a boardroom, but on a beach, building sandcastles with the people who matter most.